Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 6, The Backup Plan. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a sixth time this season, then y'all please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now y'all, let's get into it if we're gonna get into it. So when the episode first opens up, the men show up to the gentleman's lounge and Tommy is like, I heard about the bonfires and that truth or dare, so let's get into it. Well, come on Tommy, let's get into it if we're gonna get into it. So Tommy says, let's say the storm of the century hit and your foundation crumbled. Who would be your backup plan? He said, I want y'all to take out the woman you consider your second option. Tommy, I don't like the way you're articulating this. I don't like it. Your second option, I don't like it. Like, why not just say, take out the lady that hasn't gotten a lot of your time or your attention? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm just big on this I'm first, you second type thing. Because it makes a person feel less than. So, I mean, when he said, take out your second option, I'm like, Tommy, you and your turtleneck. Moving forward. So Tommy was like, when you lay cement, you can't have no pockets of air. It's time to see if these second options have staying power. Tommy. You and these Tommy-isms. And they just be eating it up. Absolutely. Y'all just as crazy as he is, child. I wish Tommy would refer to me as a cement analogy. Boy, gone. So Tori is like, I don't really have a second option. That's actually good and it's bad. I mean, you put all your eggs in Sabrina's basket? Well, honey, I don't think that's smart because, and I thought you liked Ace. So why couldn't that be your second option? I don't know. You were over there giving her the spoken word of it all. So I thought once you got through with the haiku, then it was going to be her and you. But I guess not. Y'all see what I did there? Y'all see that? Moving forward. So Clifton said, well, and this is what he said in his confessional. I have a connection with Dakia, but Joy is my first choice. I don't really feel comfortable about it, but I'm just going to follow the process, so I'm doing what I got to do. Clifton. Now, where did Dakia come from? Clifton like everybody, child. He just like Joy. You know what? Him and Joy are a match. A match do they make, honey. She for everybody, he for everybody. They just trying to make it to the end. Sir, you just trying to make it to the end and you ain't fooling me. You and Joy probably made a pact to date around but choose each other in the end, and that's that on that. In the next scene, Eric goes for a date with Carmen. So he said, Dakia is his top, and he feels like he's kind of biased in that regard, but he's taking Carmen out to see how strong their connection is. Why didn't y'all see that in the free world? So Carmen shows up. Hey, girl. And he's like, I already know Carmen is like the home girl and us hanging out, and, they could do it for hours, shrimp and lobster towers, because he is a chef and whatnot. Shout out to Mooney Long. So he's saying that. He was like, we always had this energy, like I want you and you want me, but they never did anything about it. Well, why did it take this show for you to take initiative? That's what's confusing me. You and your piece and chain. So she sat down and she was like, well, I'm hesitant to say I'm a little bit nervous. Girl, not you nervous. Well, she might actually like him. She's like, and I don't get nervous. He said, okay, we know a lot about each other, so it's almost not fair to everybody else. Eric, hush, boy, you just saying any old thing. Moving forward. So he's like, I'm already feeling you, but I want to feel you more. I don't have to, but I want to. Oh, child. So she's like, well, fill up on me then. Child, she is a mess and he is a lie. Nephew Tommy said, y'all need to take out your second choice. I don't see Eric and Carmen together. It's just not giving what I think it should give. So he being all extra, pretending like he into her, but clearly he just acting. It just seemed very performative. I don't know what it was about it, but it didn't seem like he was genuinely into her. So she was like, in her confessional, I think Eric want him a little piece of Carmen. I mean, who don't? Well, girl, if you don't give yourself the judge, then who gonna give it to you then? So these two are flirting back and forth and back. And he's saying he wanted to say something, but people were hovering over him. She's like, well, then you let him hover over you. You let him hold your hand. Eric, Dakia was not hovering over you. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is what I'm saying. And I know someone right about Eric when he just went on ahead with whatever Carmen said in that kitchen. Sir, she was not hovering over you. She came in to talk to you and you obliged her and you also said that you wanted to be her man. Child, Eric can't be trusted. She said, well, I do command attention, when I walk into a room. He gonna say, something does stand at attention when you walk in the room. Okay. Ew. Okay. Is that what you thought made sense to say? Well, honey, she liked it, so I mean, I guess. I would have been turned all the way off. I would have been like, what? I don't know, sir. He's like, yeah, she likes the innuendos. Clearly, all of y'all do. That's all y'all do every time y'all get together, is talk about the innuendos of it all. So they get their food and they start talking about the date that he had with Dakia. Why are you talking about another woman on your date with her? I have no idea. And why are you asking about his date with somebody else? I have no idea. So they're talking about Dakia and how it went. He said, I'm not gonna lie, it went really well. And some things happened. She was like, oh, okay, well, what things did happen? He said, well, she leaned in and I did oblige her, basically saying she leaned in to kiss him. Now, why would you literally kiss and tell? Why would you do that? That was a sucker move to me, because that was none of Karma's business. Karma, that ain't none of your business, girl. And why you acting like she all up on you? Because if I remember correctly, the both of you were feeling each other. And when she came into the kitchen to have a conversation about something else, you were like, oh, well, I'm already your man. So what are you saying right here? Dakia, I told you in previous reviews, I'm speaking directly to you, honey, that you needed to take your time, because now Karma and Eric are over here breaking bread talking about you leaning in for a kiss. So then she asked him, well, how did you feel about it? He said, well, I mean, I can't say that I'm not feeling her, because I am. So then Carmen gonna say in the confessional, was I shocked? No. I mean, if you put it out there, if you give it to him, a man gonna take it. She's like, I really think it was a desperate move, but she's a desperate woman. Carmen really thinks she's that girl. Like, she clearly is intimidated by other pretty women, because why are you attacking Dakia? Why? This is not the Hunger Games. This is not Amazing Race. This is not Big Brother. You're not against the women. You are here to find love, old blue eyes. What is wrong with you? What about her makes her desperate? Like, what about her making the first move makes her desperate? Forward maybe, but not desperate. Like, they're both consenting adults. He wasn't saying nothing when she grabbed that chain and brought him closer. Like, he was whack for telling her that. I did not like that at all. Like, you should have kept that to yourself. Moving forward. So she starts rubbing all over him. She said, if I want to be with Eric, I can be with Eric. Well, why weren't you with Eric? Because you knew Eric before this show. She was like, you're the appetizer. I'm the main course. Actually, okay, a word. It's quite the opposite. Tommy made them take out their second choice. So actually, your second fiddle. That's non-food related. Okay, you don't eat a fiddle and whatnot. So I feel like you're just being catty, and it's very unnecessary. You're being catty for absolutely no reason. He's like, well, Carmen is a boss, and I'm interested in seeing where it's going to go. He's like, I'm extremely glad that Tommy had us take out our second option. Why did Tommy have to task you to take her out, sir? You're giving me weak sauce. Eric gives me weak sauce, child. Moving forward. So Carmen is like, well, get ready to give the other ladies their eviction notices, honey. They can go. Ma'am, when a man wants you like that, they'll verbalize it. You won't have to prompt them. You don't even want him for real. You just feel like you have an advantage because you knew him on the outside, and now you knew him before the show, and you want to win over Dakia. You don't like Eric like that, child, because if you did, knowing you the way that you are behaving on this show, you would have made your move a long time ago, and you ain't fooling me. He's like, well, you on top, right? And I like it when you on top. Is she now? And do you? It's a flip-flopper. Dakia let Carmen have him. In the next scene, Demetrius is going out with Christina, and she's like, I'm glad to get a date with you because I didn't think you were interested. He's like, why? Sir, because you never speak. You say absolutely nothing at all times. She said, because at the beach house, you didn't speak to me. Exactly. He's like, oh, yeah, my fault. She said, I was kind of thrown off because you were doing all that kissing and ear nibbling, so I was a little bit thrown, taken aback. She's like, it gave me player vibes. Now, I don't know about all that, because the questions were asked to them because they were playing truth or dare. So I don't know if it just gave me player. Like, he was only engaging with Sabrina. She's like, I just don't want to make assumptions. He said, but you did though. He said, you're making assumptions. So in his confessional, he was like, when she came in for the date, she came in kind of hot. Which I ain't no lie. She was ready to let him have it. Do y'all hear me? But the question is, how is she your second choice when you haven't even had a first conversation with her yet? He told y'all to take out your second choice. He said, well, why does it gotta be that I'm a player? Why can't I just be a guy that knows what I want? So then in a confession, he's like, she needs to see me for who I am and not listen to what others have to say because you may block your blessing. Boy, gone. Tina, he may not be a player, but he is definitely cocky. And if everybody talking about you, then the problem might be you, Demetrius, because I'm seeing right through you. I ain't never seen it for Demetrius, honey. Suit and all. Never seen it for him. She's like, well, where do I come in to get to know you? Like, where do I fit in with that? Like, do you even want that? He may not now, honey, after this little exchange. But then he said, yeah. He said, I want to see where it goes, but other women have been here before you. And he's telling her that he wants a wife, and he's done the work, he's gone to therapy, and he knows what he wants. So they started talking about, what they want in a partner. And she was like, I just need those things in whoever I'm going to be with. He was like, you can say me. What is going on? See, Sabrina should be very careful with Demetrius, because that little line that he just said, it makes him seem like he could be a player. Because, sir, you don't even know her. You can go and say me. Based on this sit down? Okay. I know this is a whole speed dating scenario here, but is it really like this out here in these streets? Because, honey, if it is, child, y'all can just call me an old maid, honey, an old lady who lives in the shoe. Moving forward. She was like, I think we can just figure it out as we have more conversations. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, so you saying we're going to have more conversations? He said, the type of woman that I'm looking for is upfront, and they state what they want. So, Tina looking real good. Precious stated what she wanted up front as well. Y'all just don't like Precious. Moving forward. In the next scene, we see a montage of Donovan going out with Sabrina, Dakia, and Carmen. There was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, and Delisha. Shout out to DMX, rest in peace. Baby, he was going out with everybody. I said, listen, Donovan said, I just came in, so I'm just going to go out the gate with my first, second, and third options. He ain't understand the assignment either, honey. Tommy said your second choice, not your third, your fourth, and your fifth. So he and Dakia are having their date. She's like, oh, he's fine, but can I talk to him all day? I don't see the infatuation with Donovan. I don't see it. So then we pan over to Sabrina and her date, and she's talking about being able to date multiple people after being in a 10-year relationship. And then we visit him and Carmen, and she's like, so what is your ideal type besides me? Oh, Lord, here go Carmen. Carmen trying to make it to the end by any means necessary, honey. She is casting her net to here, there, and everywhere. So he said, I just want women that can adapt to different types of situations, right? And so he said he feels like anything can be solved by just talking. So I did like the fact that he said, that you're going to need to communicate. But this just seemed really casual to me. Like even his body language, he was very lean back. His chair was pushed from the table. I don't know, it was giving, I'm not interested in you like that. And she was more so leaning forward and sitting on the edge of her seat. So I don't know, I just read body language when I'm having a conversation with somebody. And it was very relaxed. It was totally different than what he was giving with Dakia and Sabrina. So she goes, well, I'm competitive. Well, no lies detected. Back with Dakia, she said, well, what's your type? He said ambitious, works independently, doesn't need help from others. Boy, what in the LinkedIn? What are you talking about? He was like, yeah, I know that sounds like a resume. It definitely does, honey. It definitely does. So he tells her that his love language is words of affirmation and physical touch. So back with Sabrina, they're talking about their divorces, and he tells her that they co-parent, they get along great with the kids and whatnot. So she's like, oh, okay, well, I really want to have kids, and I feel like you already having them, that just makes for a bigger family. He's like, yeah, the more the merrier. So then she tells him, oh, stop. It's like you're in my life. Like, stop it. And she's another one that likes everybody. Over on the other side, Carmen tells Donovan that she has a 16-year-old. And he said, I got a 16-year-old and an 11-year-old. And I had no idea that she even had children. So he asked if she wanted more, and she said, I prefer not to. I don't blame you, child. After 16 years, I wouldn't want to start over either. He said, I'm open either way. And she was like, well, if I fall in love with the right man, then I will be open for that discussion. Pause. I'm very happy somebody finally pulled a real conversation out of Carmen, because as soon as she was introduced to us, she went out with Laverne. She was grabbing his gluteus maximus, honey, trying not to cramp her hand and whatnot. They were talking about whatever. She went out with Paul. She was tasting his pickle. Ooh, okay. Oh, child, every time I think about it, I throw up in my mouth. And I love pickles, honey. They almost ruined it for me. Then when she went out with Clifton, it was something different. I think she went out with Clifton. Oh, that was a group date. And he talked about his muscles. She was like, let me see it. So, for her to actually have a conversation and let him in on her real life, she might actually like Donovan. Back with Dakia, they're talking about what he's going to do because, he's the new guy. So they bond over both being analytical and using their left and right side of the brain. Over with Carmen. Ooh, child, I'm tired just reviewing it. Do y'all hear me? Her dates are going here, there, and everywhere. It's a ping pong game. Ping, 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 ping. Ooh, child. Back with Carmen, he's surprising her with a little happy birthday dessert, which I thought was very thoughtful. And she really appreciated that. And she said in her confessional, she said it was Clifton and Eric, but now Donovan is on my radar. Child, everybody on your radar. Moving forward. She's like, the women aren't going to give me my turn. I'm just going to go for it. She said, because I'm good at going after a man. Maybe I should put that on my resume. Chasing a man ain't cute, Stink. It ain't cute. Honey, it ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to go around saying, you know what I'm good at? Chasing behind a man. Girl, goodbye. Back with Sabrina, he's asking because of the kiss at the table that they had, during the whole Truth or Dare game. Is there room for anyone else? She was like, absolutely. There's room for someone else to swoop in and sweep me off my feet. Baby, Sabrina likes to be fawned over and she likes to have men compete for her. So if you want to compete against Demetrius and Tori, Sabrina is not going to turn you down. You can definitely do that. So Sabrina said, the date with Donovan was one of the best dates that I've been on. Y'all sitting down at this table is the best date that you've been on? Okay. She said, I was just wondering to myself if I could sleep with him after a few more drinks. And I was thinking like, I sure would. Girl, this date got you wondering all that? Oh, baby, it's too easy. It is too easy. Donovan and his eyebrows got Sabrina's attention. Do y'all hear me? So Donovan said, with Dakia, I can see that she's a catch. With Carmen, I'm feeling like some sexual tension. But with Sabrina, that connection we had, it was on so many different levels. And I definitely want to go out with Sabrina again. Now, I don't know what he and Sabrina talked about that was edited out. But now Tori got to worry about Donovan too. Oh, Tori. Oh, this is a mess. I thought he liked Dakia the most when I was watching their interactions, but honey, I guess he liked Sabrina. I knew he wasn't feeling Carmen like that. I knew it. In the next scene, Clifton is going out with Dakia. Dakia, you look cute, girl. He said he likes her, but she has a 9-to-5 attitude, and he wants to see if she can let her hair down and have some fun. Dakia said, well, I'm on a date with my big daddy, and, I know we have a connection. I know he has a connection with Joy, but I bring out something different in him, so I just still want to explore it. Yeah, you're bringing out the sleepiness in him, because he said you're boring, girl. You're giving very much 9-to-5. So you're going to have to let that ponytail down and shake that hair a little bit. So he brings out some oysters, and she's like, oh, I don't do oysters. He was like, oh, you think you're going to gag? She said, no, my gag reflexes are strong. Child, I give up. I think this must be their style of dating because everybody is giving their little sexual innuendos and ain't nobody saying nothing about it. So I guess this is just how the dating game is now. I know I've been out of the dating game a long time. So maybe this is just what they do. So he gets up to feed her an oyster. And baby, she was basically being as seductive as possible with that oyster. Do y'all hear me? Honey, I don't even think she blinked. He said, ooh, that was sexy as hell. She was like, yeah, you just want to put some in my mouth. Okay, let's continue. In the next scene, P.O. goes for a date with Joy. Joy, what you got on? What do you have on? Baby, she came in making sure P.O. didn't get no bright ideas. She was dressed like a pilgrim. I said, what in the... Joy, what do you have on, child? Joy let us know that it's strictly platonic when it comes to P.O. She was like, this is a strictly platonic date. One of those clothes let us know all we needed to know, so you didn't really have to verbalize it. She said, we can talk about anything, but it's friendly, and I think I like it that way. I know that's real. They do seem like two buddies out on a date, child. Back with Clifton and Dakia, they're having a conversation about what she likes, and she's telling them she likes roller coasters and bungee jumping, and she wants to skydive. And he was like, oh, I did that before. She was like, really? So now he's getting to know new things about her. She said, I told y'all it's more to me than my professional side. Clifton just going through the motions, child. He ain't interested. He does not like Dakia in that way. I feel like him and Joy saw what happened with Camille and Cornelius, or not even saw it, but probably heard about it, because all are ready to love people, child. It's like a fraternity. Once you get in, you in. I think he probably heard about that. So they know that they're going to choose each other. So they're just going to participate, to stay on the show and get their participation grade and whatnot. Moving forward. Back with P.O. and Joy, they're talking about his connection, and he asked her what made her so bold to just kiss Clifton. She's like, bold? I've been dying to kiss that man. That was not bold. P.O., go ahead and grab that food to go, Playboy. I don't think it's going to happen, honey. She wanted to make sure that she let you know that was all the way on purpose. I did it and I ain't changing it. So he said, I can respect that, but it puts people on notice. I mean, it might have broken a few hearts. Yeah, that old messy game put people on notice. It let everybody know who you were really feeling. And Laverne ain't fooling me. Moving forward. So the kid's still on her date with Clifton, and she's like, I know he has a connection with Joy, but I'm still in the game, and it's still fair game. And basically, she gonna keep on shooting her shot. Child, he chose Joy, and she gonna choose him. Back over with Paul. Paul is over there asking questions like he like to do. And Joy said, I'm just going through the process, but I'm tired. I'm really tired of going through the different connections. Like, I'm ready to say it with my chest, basically. I choose Clifton. So P.O. said, even though they didn't make a connection, they're connected as friends. Okay, Paul. But y'all, Precious ain't been seen with P.O. yet. But she saved him. Have y'all noticed that? The only time she went out with P.O. is when they went on that group date. But she saved him so that he could stay. And I ain't seen him with her since. And she sung his praises, child. I'm confusion. I think it's time for P.O. to Geo. Because it seems like Tina is being wooed by Demetrius. Precious, ain't no telling what's going on with her. So I think it's time for him to go. Even though it's the women's turn. I think it should be 2 times the men, 2 times the women. But that's just me. In the next scene, Laverne goes for a date with Ace, Badu, Scott, Angelou, Michelle Obama. And she arrived for their date, and he gives her a small token of his appreciation, right? So I was thinking, oh, that's nice. That is really nice that he got her something. Until he got to the second part, y'all. He's like, I know you like things, for your skin, but you got to let me put it on you. She said, what? Put it on me? He said, yeah, I got to rub it in. And just like that, the gift lost its judge. Child, this is a whole fool. She's like, he just has a very giving heart, and he makes me feel like a schoolgirl. Ace. Be careful with Laverne now, okay? I'm just telling you because I really feel like he just wants to make it to the end. Be very careful with him. Meanwhile, Tori is waiting for his date, which is Precious. He's like, my connection with Sabrina is a little shaky, so I'm meeting up with my second choice, which is Precious. Tori, you told us previously you didn't even have a second choice. You do not like Precious. You just chose whoever, honey, but at least somebody taking Precious out, child, because they act like she got the plague, okay? So he said, our connection at the mixer was good. But since then, it's just been kind of like empty conversations. So Precious arrives, right? Y'all tell me why Precious was walking in looking shocked as hell to see him. You do know you were coming for a date, right, Precious? Maybe the way she walked in, I was like, I don't think Precious knows she coming for a date. So she tells us, that her previous connection was good with Tori. But he just got lost in the sauce. Precious, you need to be making as many connections as possible, honey. You ain't got time to be having nothing lost in nobody's sauce. So she sits down with her headlights on. I was like, girl, where are your pasties? He's like, your girls are pointing at me. She's like, yeah, they're excited. Girl, wear you some nip covers next time. Ciao. Back with Ace and Laverne, they're talking about her love language, and she said the other ladies say that he doesn't allow them to talk, but he's a good listener when it comes to her. It may be her calming spirit that allows him to sit back and calm his nerves down. Because Laverne is just, he too much. So maybe it's because of who she is, allows him to be a more toned down version of who he is. Maybe that's it. Back over with Precious and Tori, they're talking, and she's like, I'm just trying to see if we're better as friends or as cuddy buddies. Like, what are we? He's like, oh, okay, so if we're sex friends, then some organs are going to be rearranged. Tori always talking like he working with a monster. Sir, do you have the magic stick? I got the magic stick. I know if I can hit once, I can hit twice. Shout out to Lil' Kim and 50 Cent. Do you have it? Because first you was talking about Joy's kidneys, now it's her organs. She said, are you the kidney smasher? What are y'all talking about right now? Huh? What are y'all talking about right now? So she was like, Tori has a kidney fetish. Like, it's a little bit much. Honey, if Precious is saying it's too much, then it's too much. That's probably why Sabrina was over there with Demetrius. Because if you constantly talking about touching her vital organs, I'd be kissing somebody else too. Moving forward. Back over with Ace and Laverne. She's eating off his fork. Y'all already know what I'm going to say about that. It's giving yuck. Okay? The parade is still outside. Oh, child. So they're having a little banter. And then she asked how they would move forward in the process. Girl, not y'all. Moving forward. So she asked him that, right? He said, well, what we can do is you can tell everybody that it's Laverne for you. I'm your dude, and I'm going to do the same. Laverne, I'm sure nobody's going to care about Ace taking the Southern Indiana man out of the game. I think you're safe. And also, Gary, Indiana is not in the South. Moving forward. He's like, I'm already looking for your Christmas present. I am just not feeling Laverne. I don't care how many gifts you start talking about, honey. When you said you wanted to make it to the end, it makes me think that you are using Ace, and I don't like it. You're using her to do that. Back over with Precious and Tori, she's like, I'm just trying to figure out if we have a deeper connection. And so he's like, well, let me get a shot. Can we get a shot? I'm like, what is happening? So then out of nowhere, he kisses her. Tori, what in the left field are you doing? You said you wanted to have more than an empty conversation with Precious, right? Yet all you have been doing is talking about her kidneys and sneaking kisses. So she's trying to delve deeper, but clearly he's not. So she was like, I had no idea where that kiss came from because, I want some passion behind that. I don't feel those love type of vibes from Tori. See, he felt like he could do that because he doesn't take Precious seriously. None of the men do. So Precious, I can tell you right now, honey, that nobody in this space is for you. So he's like, the kiss just showed that there's no spark there. I'm only interested in one woman, and that's Sabrina. That was not cool at all because it was unwanted. And you basically dismissed her trying to get to know you to conduct this stupid kiss experiment. That was not cool. She deserved a better date than that. I do not like the way they are treating Precious. Ever since they had this preconceived notion that all she wants to do is party, 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 let's all get wasted, then they've been treating her like a good time party girl, and I don't like that. Tori, you should have never put your nasty mouth on this woman because she didn't ask you for that. Child, I'm side-eyeing Tori and his 2 cupcakes. In the next scene, all the men gather at the gentleman's lounge, and Paul comes in. Here go Tommy. How tall are you? He say, I'm 6'4", 6'4 and a half. Tommy gonna say 6'6" with heels on. Tommy gone. Boy gone. So he asks Eric about his date, and he tells him, that he initially went out with Dakia. He went out with Carmen and opened some different doors, even though Dakia is the one that he really likes. He said Dakia is something that I would eat over and over. No pun intended. So he said, that Carmen came in and she's the sauce to his life. Eric, you and these food analogies. Clifton said he went out with Dakia and he liked her and she let her hair down for once. Demetrius told him that he went out with Tina and it shifted some things. So Donovan said, I had a great vibe with Sabrina, Dakia, and Carmen. Okay, 3 a hard way. Laverne said, I went out with Ace. She's peace and calm. She could be the one I could build a life with. He said, at this point, we're looking past the process. We planning holidays together. Oh, okay, so y'all planning those matching pajama pictures during Christmas on Instagram. Got it. So Tommy said, hold on, Laverne, because you know how Tommy feel about Laverne. He said, Laverne, you got the ring yet? He said, no, I ain't got it yet. Tommy, please do not encourage him. So he said, okay, but that was your second choice, right? He said, yeah, but I connected with Joy, but I felt like this was clarity. So then he gonna say, this way he went wrong. He said, let me give you guys some advice. Don't be scared to say who you want and who you want to be with. Sir, they do not need your advice. He's like, you need to just express yourself. Don't worry about everybody else. Just say it. Vern, you cannot dictate how they move through this process. You want them to make a choice so you won't get sent home, and you ain't fooling me. Because if everybody's settled up, it basically solidifies the ladies saving each man. So if nobody else is fighting over women or fighting over men, then it's like, okay, Ace and Laverne, they're going to the end. Joy and Clifton, they're going to the end. Boy, please, keep your advice to yourself. Tommy said, Eric, you shaking your head over there. Eric said, I don't need no advice. I know that's right. He said, I'm just saying, let's be intentional with these women. Laverne, are you the host or is Tommy? So Demetrius said, well, I've been doing that since day one. You ain't got to tell me that. Ooh, not Demetrius piping up. Child, is military man against military man. So Laverne said, I'm just speaking. I'm speaking. Like I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. He said, nah, man, you're giving advice to the group as a whole, right? He said, I'm just making a statement. Ooh, child, not the boys getting catty. Donovan said, Laverne is passionate, but I'm not going to be bullied into making a decision. Child, I got this problem on every season. We just went through that last season with Aisha and them. Laverne, just because you've made a declaration after almost being sent home does not mean that these men are not being intentional. Child, you wouldn't even speak at the pool party. Now all of a sudden you got all this mouth. Boy, if you don't be quiet. So then Tommy switches gears and he said, let me talk about your strongest connections. Tori said Sabrina. Demetrius said Sabrina because it's easy like Sunday morning. Tori said I'm not worried about Demetrius. I'm not worried about his connection with Sabrina because I know how she feels about me. Do you now? Seemed a little bit bothered when y'all had that dinner, but that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. So then he asked who they weren't feeling. Demetrius said Precious. Tori said Precious. Donovan said Precious, honey. Precious, 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 because we don't have Wiley no more. had to give y'all a little Professor Clump. So Laverne with his petty self. Now, you know he done just got into it with Demetrius, right? Here he go. I'm going to have to say Sabrina. Laverne, your slip is showing, honey. He's like, she doesn't excite me or move me or motivate me. I'm just not interested. Okay, and I didn't think she was interested in you either. I have never even heard her say your name. You ain't got to put her down to lift somebody else up. I bet Demetrius was pissed. But honey, she's safe because more people like Sabrina than not. Paul said Joy, Eric said Joy, and honey, Clifton was rolling his eyes so good. Precious is going home tonight. I can almost guarantee you. In the next scene, Joy goes for the eliminate with Demetrius, and baby, this right here was a fool. She's like, I'm completely confused as to why I'm going out with Demetrius because we do not have a connection. I'm confused as well because it seems like Tina would be the one that's in the bottom before Joy. Because I thought more men like Joy than not, but I guess I was wrong. So Demetrius said, well, I want to see if there's anything between us. She said, do you think there's something between us? He said, yeah. She was honest with him. She said, I can just feel, in my gut that there's absolutely nothing between us. I respected her being upfront. Over with Clifton, he went on the eliminate with Precious. And she's like, I've never been on a date with Clifton, but something telling me something ain't right, honey. The math ain't mathing, honey, and ain't. So Demetrius is over there telling Joy that the guys all got together. And she said, wait a minute, let me take a drink. Okay. I'm good. Now, what now? He said, they feel like, you've already honed in on one guy, a.k.a. Clifton, and you don't want to get to know the other men romantically. Back over with Clifton and Precious. Clifton tells Precious that the men think that she's a party girl. She's like, yeah, that's being spread by one person in the group, and that would be Demetrius. Child, not Demetrius being messy boots. She was like, I really do not appreciate that. She said, I do like to go out and be social, but I like to be social with my man. Back over with Joy and Demetrius. Joy is telling Demetrius that she isn't there for the games and she's tired of going through the motions and answering questions. She likes Clifton. That's that on that. She said what she said and she ain't changing it. So then, baby, she goes, do you like anyone here? He said, I do. She's like, no, do you genuinely feel someone here? He said, yes. She said, oh, okay. She said, I don't know if you're really here for love. Joy, not you trying to eliminate him. It's not your turn, girl. Baby, Joy said, Demetrius, you are not ready to love. Child, I am done. Baby, Joy is pissed. Do y'all hear me? You should have been saying that and letting them know that Demetrius was not ready to love when it was your week, honey. And she letting Demetrius know, honey, I'm putting you on notice right now that next week this could be you. He said, okay, so what do you think I'm here for? Just to make it to the finish line? Like what? She said either that or to start some See, I knew I didn't care for Demetrius. I knew it, but Joy, it seems like you're reaching because you can't imagine being in the bottom because all the guys like you. You are a guy's girl, but at the same time, this is ready to love, not ready to be a guy's girl. Girl. So he said, I just think she's the one that's starting So, baby, they're going back and forth and back. So then he said, the guys feel like you're not ready to end this journey. Petty boots, baby, petty boots. Baby, these are some petty people on this season. Do you hear me? He's like, but you are on notice. Child, not notice. So she's like, I know I came in hot and I was going off on him. I feel like, I'm sorry I killed the messenger, but she ain't really sorry, child. Back over with Clifton, he tells Precious and her contacts that her journey ends today. She said, oh, hell no. She said, I do not agree with that. Like, people were going behind my back having conversations about who they thought that I was, and I'm not that girl. She said, but you know what? I learned to embrace who I am, and I'm confident. So just when I think everything is over because we've done the eliminates and Precious is on her way back home, the ladies meet up for a ladies' table. Because y'all know it ain't no lounge, honey, and I ain't going to let him forget that. So he's asking the ladies if they're good, and Takia was like, nope, not me. Me and Eric had a little bit of an incident. Carmen gonna say, what? She was all up on Eric. Anybody can see it. Something ain't right. Ladies, shut up. Be quiet. This is not about you. So she said, I do not want to have contact with him at this point. She said, I just think he needs to grow, but I think he needs to grow away from me. Ooh. She's like, I just need to decide if I want to continue on this journey, but I don't want to date him. Ooh, child, what y'all think happened? It's giving very much Phil and Shiloh 2.0. Child, they got it going on down there in the DMV. Do you hear me? I wouldn't want Eric anyway, especially after he told all my business to Karma. And that was the end of the episode. Honey, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. I do not know what is happening. I feel like everybody is on edge. I think there is relationship dating fatigue. Nobody wants to go through the the motions anymore. So, honey, Laverne might have been right. Why don't y'all just get together and go to the end, child? Because I'm getting sick of y'all, too. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.